Hello, kia ora, namaste, maluelele, bulavanaka, talofa lava, and welcome to the 2022 New Zealand Heritage Hockey Tournament, coming to you live from the beautiful Colmar Sports Centre in Papatoetoe, Auckland. I am Brad Pittman and will be with you for all the action over what is going to be an exciting Heritage Hockey Tournament weekend here, Easter weekend in New Zealand. For those of you just joining us today, we are in day 2 of the Heritage Hockey Tournament, and in yesterday's women's games, the Heritage Barbarians beat New Zealand Indians 3-0, and it was a shootout victory for New Zealand Pacifica over the New Zealand Maori team after a nail-biting finish in regular game time. It's the second game of day 2 here between New Zealand Maori and New Zealand Indians. Both teams came up short in their matches yesterday, so will be desperate to get points from today's games. It is the Maori women who will come in as favourites after winning last year's tournament, but don't ever count out a fired-up Indian side who will be wanting to get their first win on the board. We'll be looking forward to an exciting game of hockey with both teams featuring youth right across the park and will be well coached in their respective camps. Both teams will be better for yesterday's game and will want to see improvements in execution, especially today. Now, I'm joined in commentary today again by Sidul Patel from Puko Indians Association. Sidul, it's great to have you here again. We saw the Indian women play yesterday. Like I said, they did come up short in their game, but not through lack of effort and opportunity. What are you going to want to see from this Indian side if they're going to get the win today?
Definitely playing the smart hockey, especially with this heat, midday heat. It's going to be a big factor, utilising the players that they do have in the middle, and those final touches when they do get in the circle will be key.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we see the umpires, Tamara Dudley and Carlette Human, bring the teams out here, and we take a look at the lineups for today's game. There have been some changes across the park. We start with the Indian women's side, who have the experienced pair of Jalisha Singh and Misha Tately, who were fantastic yesterday, battling for large periods of the game right up the middle of the field. And their key to unlocking the go-forward will, of course, be their captain, Manisha Jerem, who was good yesterday, but will need to continue to expect better of her teammates and make sure that they're on the same page in front of the goal if they're to trouble the scorers in today's match. For the Maori team, they have made a couple of changes. Like I said yesterday, they do have a big bench. They are the defending champions, and they almost pulled off the impossible yesterday with 2 goals in the final 2 minutes of the game to send it to a penalty shootout against the Pacifica women. But I'm excited to see the leadership in goal from Huia Arahanga Doyle, who joins the team this morning. A highly experienced player, and the work between her and central defender Jazz McQuinn in directing the team from the back will be huge in how well they go. They've got a lot of young players up front, so they're going to need that experience and leadership coming from the back just to make sure that they're getting into good areas of the field. So keep an eye out for Arahanga Doyle in goal and her work with McQuinn in their communication. The Indian side will be coached by Navina Hira today, which is fantastic. Very experienced player and has played a lot of hockey at Indian tournaments and at a very high level. I know some players out there will be glad that she's not actually out there playing against them. Indian woman by Grayson Keys Kumiro from the New Zealand Maori team. She's starting in the middle at the back there with Jazz McQuinn. She good low, strong tackler, gets around the park, plays both sides of the field really well. And her distribution when coming forward out of defence was particularly impressive yesterday. And it will be the New Zealand Maori women with the black strip and first possession of the ball, playing left to right, and the New Zealand Indians in the white strip, playing right to left. We're ready to go here in the second game of day 2 between New Zealand Maori and New Zealand Indians. And this is the Maori side with Ruby Jane Meehan. Just looking across the middle of the field, linking up, that is Orewa Hepi, who we spoke about. She is the captain of this New Zealand Maori team. And you can see that intent right from the first play there, Seedle. One pass, a little midfield option, and they want to go forward. This Maori team are not going to want to wait today.
You can definitely guarantee that Tina will have a good game plan already set for these ladies.
Yeah, we mentioned the coaches, phenomenal on both sides, so they'll have very clear game plans and things that they want to achieve across this match. Looks like the Maori team wanting to play fast, play early, and put some real pressure on this Indian side, but the Indians do come out of the right-hand side here. You see a good setup and shape there from the New Zealand Māori team. Just trying to take away her options, but a fantastic ball through to Jalisha Singh, who was phenomenal yesterday in attack for the Indians when they did have the ball. Just unable to link up there.
Wins it back.
And Singh again. She's got
Anjali Panchia down on the base. This will be good if they link up with the players quite well. Get in behind those defenders, they'll be good.
That's Tately on the ball. She's just found a player, but only gets as far as Muck Ackroyd. Tately again, just looking at the edge of the circle, but from her over the baseline there, unfortunately. Both teams looking like they want to go forward early here. You said both coaches and both teams will be wanting to right some of yesterday's wrongs, and this is Manisha Jerem coming forward. Unfortunately, the experience of ex-Black Stick Jazz McQuinn on full show there just read that pass and has made the pass forward to Ruby Jane Meehan. She's trying to find an option, but good defensive work there at the moment from the Indians. Comes forward through to the Māoris, not able to make it past the goal, but they're not out of danger just yet. Indians just working out of their own pocket.
Nice control by Rebecca Massey, getting the ball out, not getting flustered.
Yeah, Massey's done well there. It's pretty tough ask to dribble across your own back line, but she's worked out well, and Singh and Jerem here just working their way forward, giving their teammates an option to get ahead. And you can see, Jalisha Singh, as she did yesterday, offering some really nice height, and she is a good experienced striker. That's well worked there by Misha Tately, just to ride out the free hit. And that is the work there again of Singh. One thing you'll be incredibly impressed by when you watch her play is her work rate. Some pressure here by the Māori team. That's fantastic work from the New Zealand Indians. And a great transfer control through Misha Tately if she can link up. And this is Grayson Keys Kumiroa, just working her way out of trouble, gets nice and low. Fantastic stick skill and releases Ori Wahepi up the right hand side of the field. She tries to punch under Jerem, but it's picked up at the back there. Jerem just working her way forward, gets under Hepi. The link pass not quite there, but it will be Amy Mitchell to work out for the Māori woman. She links up with Meehan, but over the sideline. Means that Devyani's side.
Great use in using the baseline. Just having that little bit of extra support is, will help them get the ball through.
It's been a fast first 5 minutes, Cedal. Both teams trying to throw things forward, which is exciting. It means the game's probably going to stretch out a little bit here and offer some goal-scoring opportunities.
Definitely tell both these teams want that win, especially after yesterday.
Yeah, like we say, both teams will have had good conversation over the last 24 hours in response to yesterday's game, and will have identified some things to improve on and continue working on, and both teams looking stronger for yesterday's effort. So you see the Indian woman right up into high press. There's Jalisha Singh working in tandem with Misha Tately. Tately found herself a long way up the field there in the press, but almost came off. This is Taylor touch pass, which only gets as far as Manisha Jerem, who finds Misha Tately coming forward for the Indians. It's a back and forth affair at the moment. It's ping pong first quarter hockey. It's not the prettiest of looks, but it could come to something if it just makes its way through the final pass here. Strong tackle there by Alyssa Earnshaw for the New Zealand Indians. She's coming forward at pace. They've got numbers here. She's got a player on the inside.
Devyana Soma just unlucky in collecting that ball.
That's a great pick tackle there. There's a 3 on if she can find it.
Great with a foot in that PC.
She does a fantastic job of just rolling it onto the foot there of the New Zealand Māori defender. It's intercept by Alyssa Earnshaw has really triggered that play there. She came forward at pace, dribbled with an intent which allowed some of her other players to make strong leads, and they got the numbers advantage and have earned themselves the first penalty corner of the game. So it will be the Indians with first real opportunity from the set piece here. Single bracket at the top by the looks for the Indians. They'll have Tately to pull the ball out. Oh, a little miscue on the inject, but Manisha Jerem goes down to tidy it up. And the Maori's kick clear. The Indians do still have the ball here. The Maori women just trying to get rid of the protective gear from the penalty corner. They're probably quite happy to give away the free hit there while the rest of the players sorted out their gear. But it is a
great recovery.
An ordinary tackle there by Tyler Tohiriri O'Neill. Just giving up the penalty corner. It was a little scrambly there. It's a tough one when you give away a penalty corner like that, and you only get as far as the 25-yard line in your clearance, and you're quickly trying to throw penalty corner gear off and figure out where the players are.
And then having to chuck it back on again.
Yeah, and meanwhile having an Indian team come in straight back at you.
That recovery was quite good by the Indian team. They didn't give up.
Much better drag here. Gets it away, and unfortunately for the Māoris, that has gone past the glove of Arahanga Doyle in goal. And it is the first goal here for the New Zealand Indian Women's, and it's their first goal of the tournament through the penalty corner. It's pulled well, stopped well, and it's a drag flick that has beaten the Māori defence there. And the Indians find themselves up 1-0 over last year's tournament champions, New Zealand Māori. And that frantic first 5 minutes has paid off on the scoreboard for the Indians so far.
Different team compared to yesterday. These players they're linking up with each other. It's been quite well.
Yeah, this is a fast start, and both of them improved from what we saw in the first quarter from each of these teams yesterday, which, like I mentioned earlier, no surprises considering the coaching stocks that both teams have in their dugout. Absolutely. And the players that are on showcase here in both teams.
Oh.
Yeah, you can see the Indian women winning their turnover in the midfield. It was a good look there by Shannon Deacon. She's playing well in the middle of the field, just trying to free up her strikers to go forward, but unable to link up here. It's a lovely touch pass, Mike Ackroyd to Orewa Hepi in the middle of the field. New Zealand's Māoris hounding up the front there, and they will win possession at about halfway. So it's a mid-quarter goal to the New Zealand Indians. That puts them ahead 1-0 currently against the Māori women. It's a ball over distance, looking for a striker, won't find them. You can hear Jazz McQuinn there, nice and vocal for the Māori team, asking their strikers to make sure that they're working for the ball. And that's good defensive striker work there by the New Zealand Māoris. They're going to have an opportunity here.
Great save.
Through Arabella Irwin, who did some work there onto her reverse stick, but it is well saved there by Michelle Mahoney in goal for the Indian side. It will be the Māori women with possession just out on the dotted circle through Hohepa. She helps to go back to Ackroyd. Yeah, the Indians side thought they may have got away with a sneaky one there, but has been ruled to have hit the foot on its way through, so we'll keep possession with the Māori women. Hohepa there just outside 25-yard line looking to enter. Nicola Bradley up there for the Maori women, trying to get on the end of that, just unable to pull it in on a bouncy reverse stick receive. So the Indian women will have an opportunity to work out here. Coming inside the final 5 minutes of this first quarter, it's been a fast one. Both teams having opportunities going forward. Settle, it's an improved first quarter from yesterday for the Indian women. What's going so right for them at the moment?
The work rate and just them working together and playing the ball off each other as well has been quite good. You can definitely tell there is a bit more fire in their bellies compared to yesterday. You're seeing a lot more of that second quarter that they played yesterday in this first one, which is quite cool to see. Yeah,
absolutely, and you can see that. You can see that in some of the players here. They really got their noses up and they're playing fast and playing hard. But as we saw yesterday, it's going to take an end-to-end effort against this Māori team who can score goals quickly when they need to. As we saw against the Pacifica side yesterday, the Māori women scored 2 goals in the last 2 minutes of the game to send the game to a shootout after probably having the worst of the game for 65 minutes. So they can make it happen. This is Keys Kumiro with ball at the back for the Māoris. She's got Maya Wilson out there who attempts to link up with Hepi, but this is Shanae Phillips coming forward for the Indian side. Nice little pass over the stick. And just a step too far there, unfortunately. Sukdeep Kaur can't bring that one in. So it will be Keys Kumiro again on the ball for the Māori team. We're coming into the final 3 minutes of this first quarter. We've had end-to-end action, which is exciting. It's the second game of the day here between the New Zealand Māoris and the New Zealand Indians. Both teams unable to get wins in yesterday's games. But it's Indian women that find themselves ahead on the scoreboard thanks to a penalty corner drag flick. And this is again Shannon Deacon here, who I've been impressed with in early stages of this game, just controlling the middle of the field for the Indians. And this is Hepi linking up with Goodsill Matthews and Tohiriri O'Neill. Back to Goodsill Matthews. They've got an opportunity here. Just unable to link up there in front of the goal.
Definitely important for the Indians team to stay calm under pressure. As soon as they get a little bit rattled, that's when you can see the cracks, and the Wahine team will definitely exploit that. So it's definitely important to stay calm.
Yeah, that's it. We saw the Māori team capitalise on mistakes yesterday, and that's what kept them in that game at the back end of it. So this Indian side, though they've got the lead, will really have to stay tight here. 1-0 is certainly not a lot in hockey. And this is a good little exit here for the Indian side. Doesn't get any further than Tyler Goodsill Matthews, who links up. If they can unlock the other side of the field, Ruby Jane Meehan has some space on the other side. They will come forward here. It's been touched a few times. Last off an Indian stick. And will be enough for a penalty corner there. So it's the old bouncy ball that takes a few sticks on the way through. That has caused a little bit of chaos back there for Michelle Mahoney in goal as we look at the replay. That is the bouncy one that comes through. And it's just that kick out there, unfortunately, deemed to be a little dangerous to some of the players in the circle. So New Zealand Māori, with just 1 minute left in this first quarter, the opportunity to even the ledger through the penalty corner. I've got, looks like Jazz McQuinn up on the bracket for the New Zealand Māori team. Similar to Kayla Val from the Pacifica team, an exponent of the hit. They come from the other side. Has it the foot there? They've gone the trick play out of the penalty corner from the other side, looking for a short little 1-2 back into a shot at goal. Catch the defenders napping, but well saved in there by Michelle Mahoney. Indian side done enough to send that attacking effort back, and it is still 1-0 to the Indians. Maori women really would have wanted one there to go into the break even, but it will be the Indians that go into the quarter time break up 1-0 thanks to a penalty corner goal in the first quarter. Seedle, fast-paced first quarter, attacking opportunities at both ends. Both goalkeepers asked to make some saves in the first quarter, which is exciting. Yesterday's games we often saw a slow first quarter, so there's been some improvements here. Both teams are settling into their work. What do you expect that Navina is saying to her Indian women's players here in this first quarter break?
I guess it'll be just staying calm under pressure, especially being 1-0 up. Anything can happen in the next quarter. The New Zealand Maori team can easily come back, so it's just stay calm, keep doing what they're doing, and just be smart and play good hockey. Yeah,
she'll be really impressed by their improvements, and you can see here this was the corner that did start their game off so well, midway point. So she'll be impressed by what strides this team has made from yesterday's game. It was a tough one yesterday, but players like Jerem and Tately and playing in the good attacking positions here has put some pressure on this New Zealand Maori team as we see the penalty corner from the first quarter.
Yes, definitely with the likes of Alyssa and Shannon Deacon doing quite well at the back, holding it out.
And that was the goal there for the Indian women's side. Just the drag flick, which took a slight deflection and sent it under the outstretched hand there of Arahanga Doyle, but both goalkeepers having to make saves here, and that was a shot on goal by Arabella Irwin. There's some nice link-up play here between Goodsill Matthews and Tyler Tohirere O'Neill. Just unable to find the stick there of Leah Arthur-Worsop in front of goal, which could have proved troubling. And this unfortunate little bounce was the penalty corner for the New Zealand Maori women. And trying to catch off guard, they play the right side corner here. Short to Ackroyd, back to the injector for a quick shot. And just sent away there. We've got second quarter action started here in game 2 between the New Zealand Maori women and the New Zealand Indians. Indians up 1-0 after a penalty corner in the first quarter that we did just see in the highlights there. Still a lot of hockey to play, and Seedle has talked about how the Indian women will want to stay composed. Yes, they are leading the game, but there's still a lot of hockey and a lot of time left in this match. They won't want to be sitting on one goal.
No.
I'm sure Coach Navina will be wanting them to stick to what's working. And speaking of working, here is an opportunity for them coming forward. She's got players ahead. She can find Jalisha Singh. They will take the free hit just outside the circle. That's a great ball forward there into space for the Indians.
Yeah, Krishma Kumar, as soon as she gets the ball, she's got those legs to keep her going.
It's a fantastic tackle there by Oriwa Hepi on Misha Tately, who had Jerem outside her but opted for the drag. And now the Maori women are away through Leah Arthur-Worsop. If she can link up with her players, sends the ball across the circle. And that's fantastic effort play there up in front of the goal for the New Zealand Maori team. Breakout goal. We have an opportunity on one end, and it's turned around into a goal at the other end for the New Zealand Maori team. As we see the replay here, this is Leah Arthur-Worsop just putting the burners on. She does well here to get the ball across the goal. A little untidy there, and it has been put in by the New Zealand Maori team, and that's a great start after the break for the Maoris. It brings the game back to 1-1. Cedar, we talk about how fast hockey is, and we had almost shot on goal down here for the Indian women's side, and within 2 passes we're up the other end and it's a goal.
Absolutely. Definitely important to keep on top of the little mistakes as well, because the New Zealand Maori team, they will capitalise on that, as you saw before. So definitely important to go back to basics if it's not working and just get that stuff right, then the rest will come.
Yeah, and the exciting thing for us watching is this game has already started to stretch right out. We've got both teams with players stretched the length of the field, which means if they can open up passes like that by Oriwa Hepi, there's some space going forward. And this is Ruby Jane Meehan on the baseline entry for the Maldives. They're playing with a bit of confidence now. And just unable to link up with their strikers across the field after a touch from the Indian side, so the Māori team will retain possession. This is Tyler Goodsell-Matthews coming forward. Not past the tackle of Manisha Jerem, who does well to stop the quick attack. Indians work their way out. That was very nearly another opportunity for the Māoris, and this is a fantastic turn of pace here by the Indians. We talk about end-to-end. Jalisha Singh picks the ball up coming forward.
It's those legs again.
She's got Jasmine Quinn on the back, but it is Grayson Keys-Kumiroa and Nicola Bradley who exit for the Māoris. This game has really turned up since the quarter break, Seedle. It's end-to-end already, and if we can get anywhere near the rest of the game like this, we are going to see some action at both ends of the field.
Absolutely.
This is the Indians coming forward through Misha Tately. Oh, and the little 1-2 there with Arabella Irwin just out past the Māori player, so the Indians will keep possession here. And it is Jalisha Singh down on the baseline, not able to get past the block tackle of Jazz McQuinn.
I mentioned earlier that it's those little touches and those final touches that will make things count, so hopefully these girls are able to pull through if they get that crash ball coming in.
It's great defensive awareness there. You may not quite be able to notice in shot, but how the extra step from Grayson Keys-Kumiroa to get her feet and stick outside the circle to do her work around the edge of the circle just takes away a lot of the risk of giving away penalty corner, cheap penalty corner there, and has sent the Indian attack away. And you can see here the Māoris right up in high press. They're going to want to put some pressure on here and turn the ball over up the field. But it is a great exit for the Indians, only as far as Jazz McQuinn. This one is going to be pulled in by Tyler Goodsell-Matthews with one hand. A little misdirected, but it's going to find Mike Ackroyd in the middle of the field for the Māoris. And she goes with one hand. And that's that desperation that we saw that resulted in the goal for the Māori team. They're, again, we mentioned yesterday, it certainly wasn't through a lack of effort that let them down, and the effort is still here today. It's the little things that are starting to happen at both ends of the field for both teams. The key, though, Seedle, of course, is going to be keeping this up for 2.5 more quarters of hockey, and you know, there's going to be some tired legs and lungs out there at the moment, so keeping possession is going to be so important, and making your swings of momentum count on the scoreboard. You know, there's nothing worse than exerting all of this energy to keep the upper hand and either not scoring or potentially even conceding a goal. So the team that can be as efficient as possible in front of goal is going to go a long way to winning this one. Māori team opting for high press again. That's Nicola Bradley up on the 5-yard line. And Tyler Goodsell-Matthews will link up there. This is Arabella Irwin, and she's done a fantastic job there in earning the penalty corner for the Māori women's team. It's a good receive and strong play towards the goal there. Just the defensive work not judged up to standard by umpire Khaled Human. So the Māori team will have another opportunity here from the set piece. They went the trick shot from the right hand side last time. Looks like they will go traditional down to the left. I mentioned Jazz McQuinn at the bracket on the last corner. She is there again. Setting single bracket. Look for a straight hit option here from McQuinn. It's a little messy at the top, but Irwin comes in. Well turned away there by Michelle Mahoney, in goal for the Indian side. Yeah, execution just falling down a little bit, unfortunately, there for the Maori team. They're going to want to unlock Jazz McQuinn on that penalty corner strike. She's very similar in her abilities with Kayla Vahel from the Pacifica team if she gets one going.
Absolutely.
This is the Indian women breaking out here. Strong challenge by the Māoris gives them position back, but just unable to link up. Settle, Shannon Deacon for this Indian women's side playing in the middle of the field with Misha Tately has been good for the Indian women's side.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's quite good for the team to rely on that other player, not just Misha, and it allows Misha to free up Misha a little bit to push up higher.
Yeah, absolutely. They're just starting to work together, and this is Jalisha Singh, who I've talked about her work rate. She's got a new player on the field if she can link up. There's two of them on that side, and players ahead of the ball. Entry comes through. That's well looked after by Tyler Goodsell-Matthews, and a good exit to Jazz McQuinn.
Indians will need to be a little bit smarter going into the circle, especially with the penetrations. The defence for the New Zealand Māoris is solid. They will be able to read and pick off anything coming at them, so they need to be a bit more smarter in terms of how they get into the circle.
You can see how effective the speed of the likes of Krish Makuma there. Absolutely. And Jalisha Singh really causing a bit of opportunity here for the Indian women's, but Grayson Keys Kumiroa can't get past. That is Deacon. We can see this is more of that end-to-end hockey. There's players at both ends of the field for both teams. We're midway through the second quarter of action here in the second game of the day at New Zealand Heritage Hockey Tournament between the New Zealand Māori and New Zealand Indian sides. Scores all locked up at 1-1. And it is Misha Tately for the New Zealand Indians to take the sideline free hit. He's got an overhead option there, which if it makes its way through, not past Grayson Keys Kumiroa. Unable to link up with Nicola Bradley on the opposite side of the field though, so it will only get as far as halfway. Indians back in possession of the ball. That's Shannon Deacon again with the trap in the midfield. She links up on the other side of the field, opening up a little bit of space for the Indians if they can find their strikers going forward. Good strong play there by Maya Wilson. That was enough to earn the free hit for the Māoris. Good high press here by the Indians. They're going to want to put some pressure on. They want to get their midfielders up a little closer to intercept. But it is Heppy working the 2-on-1 out there with Ruby Jane Meehan. And they link going forward. Just unable to be pulled in there on the left baseline. Opportunities both ends for both sides. The legs will start to tire in this last 5 minutes of the second quarter, so whichever team can keep control, keep period of possession and play at the right end of the field. They do get a break coming up at half time, but the Lungs will be doing hard work of it at the moment. That's Jamie Webber with some fantastic skill out of the back. Tries to link up with Jalisha Singh, but it is Grayson Keys Kumiroa who will keep possession for the Māori team at about halfway. Seidel, I hope you get to play with Jalisha Singh and not against her at Indians tournaments, because I wouldn't want to be playing against that much
definitely.
running.
She's a pookie girl through and through, so it's always nice to have her on the team and send those high balls up to her and just to let her do her magic.
Yeah.
It's quite nice watching it from the back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is Shanae Phillips, and she's got Jalisha Singh outside her.
Good roll by Devyani.
Yeah, she had Singh and Somar there. Opted to go into Devyani Somar. Māori team get numbers back. There's Shanae Phillips again looking forward, but cut off by Keys Kumiroa only as far as Devyani Somar. And that's Ruby Jane Meehan now with options going forward. She's got a striker a long way up the field if she can link up. It's going to be close.
See, Misha's drops back a little bit more deeper in defence now.
This is Ruby Jane Meehan again, turning on the inside of Misha Tately. And Tately just does enough to send that ball out over the back line, and they will have the long corner here through Taylor Weatherly for the New Zealand Māoris. And not judged to have gone 5 yards before the ball entry there. So the Indians get the relieving free hit. High press again by the Māori team, but it's a fantastic transfer out to the right-hand side of the field for the Indians. Picked up there by Sinead Phillips.
Great tight skill.
A strong work there by Amy Mitchell to put the ball in behind Sinead Phillips. Almost intercepted there by Devyani Soma. It's Māoris with the ball as we go into the final 3 minutes of the game. Scores level at 1-1. A penalty corner to the Indians and a field goal to the Māoris locks the game up, and it is Heppy here to have the sideline free hit and go at Misha Tately. She can't link up, and it is
Sugar with the ball. Sick deep.
The Indians that will come forward with ball on halfway. Here's Manisha Jerem, who just unable to link up, unfortunately, there with Devyani Soma and Jalisha Singh. Ruby Jane Meehan will have the ball coming forward. Well intercepted there for the Indians by Alyssa Earnshaw. And that's Gurleen Gill on the ball there for the Indian side. She'll want to try and link up here with her players. Not quite the execution she would have wanted, but the Māoris come forward through now with Heppy. She's got Ackroyd in front of her and Meehan on the outside. Just opts to hold the ball up for a second and will look over the stick of Manisha Jerem. Down there to Arabella Irwin, back out in front of the goal, but well controlled there by Misha Tately for the Indian women's side. Final 2 minutes of this second quarter. Settle, really important part of the game here to either score right before or right after a halftime break.
Absolutely, that does set the tone a bit going into the next one. If Indians maintain their composure and just play that smart hockey, then they'll be good.
Yeah, remember it was the Māori women that came out of the first quarter break firing and scored their goal early in this quarter after the Indians went up 1-0 in the first quarter. We are under 90 seconds here to play. It's the Indians with ball at the back. Probably looking just to get their way to half time. Some lovely bit of stick skill down there and eating up some of the time on the clock for the Indians.
They're very quick with that transfer as well. They don't want to have the ball right in their circle and lose control of it.
The Māoris might have one more opportunity here with less than a minute on the clock. Ball coming forward through Heppy, but of course it is Misha Tately who gets the ball as clear as the 25-yard line, but Meehan has it here for the Māoris. She's got Devyani Soma in front of her, links up with Ackroyd, who earns the free hit just outside the circle for the Māoris. Not a lot of time left on the clock here if they want to throw one last punch before the break. It is Ackroyd. And just not executed, unfortunately, there by Arthur Worsop through to Meehan, which will probably spell the end of the second quarter. Indians with the free hit out of the back here. A little bit scrappy here, but trying to get it through. And that will spell the second quarter break here. In game 2 of day 2 between the New Zealand Māoris and New Zealand Indian women's sides, the score's all locked up 1-1. Both these teams losers from day 1. The New Zealand Māoris through a penalty shootout and New Zealand Indians in regular time, so both teams here desperate to get points on the board. in preparation for tomorrow's game and then Monday's medal matches. But it's been an exciting game here, Settle. Both teams have improved certainly from their first game, which will please both coaches, Tina Balkake and Navina Hira. What have you liked so much about the improvement from the two teams?
Just the stick work that's been happening, especially from the Indian side. Is a completely different team compared to yesterday. They just kept looking for the long ball, whereas now they're actually trying to look for those through passes and trying to find a stick. And when they do link up together, it's pretty awesome to see.
They've found some key pieces today which perhaps weren't as influential in yesterday's game, and we speak about players like Alyssa Earnshaw and Shannon Deacon, who have been playing sort of in defensive midfield areas for them, which just allow players like Misha Tately and Manisha Jerem to play a little higher up the field, linking in with Jalisha Singh and Divyani Somar. Just gives them strengths right the way up the field. And you can see this is the penalty corner goal here to Shannon Deacon, that put them up 1-0 in the first quarter. But it's allowed them just to have strength in all of their layers, and their go forward looks a lot better for it. This is Arabella Irwin's reverse stick shot on the goal of Michelle Mahoney, who sent that back out to the sideline. Some strong work here by Tyler Goodsell-Matthews and Tyler Tohiriri O'Neill. Almost found Leah Arthur-Worsop in front of goal for the New Zealand Māoris, so not through lack of opportunities both ends. This was the first penalty corner earned for the New Zealand Māori team. As we mentioned, went the short play on the right hand side, trying to catch the Indian side unprepared, but not to avail there. It's been a good first half. Both teams will be pleased with the improvements that they've made from yesterday's game, and they both worked into yesterday's game. Obviously the New Zealand Māori team pulling off some late game heroics against the Pacifica women, down 2-0 with 5 minutes to go and scoring twice in that final period to send the game to a shootout. And even the Indian women, who we thought yesterday played a phenomenal second quarter, just to unfortunately no scoreboard avail. Both teams will be impressed with what they've put out here this first half, and it's tribute obviously to the coaching of Tina Balkake and Navina Hira. Settle, you'll know a lot about playing against and being around tournaments with Navina. What will she be saying in the team talk here?
For the girls, it's just to keep doing what they're doing. It's what they are doing is working, and just keeping that composure as well. As soon as you lose that composure and you start getting a bit flustered, that's just when everything turns to custard. So if they keep up that good teamwork and working off each other, then they'll be good.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm sure Tina Balkake will be expecting her players to keep playing with the flair and the fast pace that has been working for them. They've found a high striker a couple of times through long balls from the likes of Tyler Goodsell-Matthews and Jazz McQuinn and Grayson Keys-Kumiroa, so they'll want to keep stretching the game out, and this is that sort of breakout play that we see here in the second quarter highlights from Leah Arthur-Worsop, which just falls there well for the New Zealand Māori team. That's what happens when you have numbers ahead of the ball. This game is a free-flowing, fast-paced game, so having numbers going forward is key to creating these opportunities. And this is another one where you've got a player right up on the baseline in a position to receive the ball. It just pays so much dividend when you've got a player that can play long out of the back like McQuinn to create you opportunities going forward. So both teams will want to stick to what they're doing, keep the good parts of what's happening, because they've both looked phenomenally better than they were in early stages of yesterday's game. And both very much with a lot to play for here.
Definitely has been end-to-end as well. With the possession as well, it's a bit hard to tell who's got more of it, but which is a sign that it's good hockey's been played.
Yeah, as we come back out here for second quarter action, will be the Indian women, second half action, it will be the Indian women through Jalisha Singh with first use of the ball. We had a goalkeeper change for the Indian side as Mia Wallab comes into goal for the Indians. And our score is 1-1 between the Māoris and the Indians.
Mia's first year playing QBT last year, so it was a bit of a big step from her, coming from under 13s and playing with the older ladies.
Yeah, it's awesome what experiences and opportunities that this tournament here creates. You've got at least 2 players out on this field here that have played international games for New Zealand, and then you get a player like you say, Mia, who's first year out of QBT, comes in and is able to share a field with these players, and that's the beauty of heritage hockey. Mixing some of these experienced international players with players really just gaining their feet at this level of hockey. We've got Gurleen Gill on the ball here for the New Zealand Indians. She'll look forward and only make it as far as Ori Happy, who had Jalisha Singh on her pretty early. This is Tyler Goodsell-Matthews just looking for the touch pass of Jazz McQuinn, but not cued in with the attackers up the right hand side of the field, unfortunately for the Maori woman.
You can tell they're starting to stretch out a bit more.
You can see here the pressing shape already from the Maori team. They've got their striker up cutting off the transfer back pass, so they're trying to keep the ball on one side of the field and get numbers around, but they do open up through Misha Tately if she can get past Jazz McQuinn. And it will be McQuinn to come forward through Heppy, but well picked. Fantastic work there by Alyssa Earnshaw.
She's definitely been pivotal today and helping out at the back and getting that ball going forward.
Yeah, we mentioned both Earnshaw and Deacon in the halftime break and the work that they've done, just freeing up the likes of Tately and Jerem to go forward. This is the Māori team here. This is Grayson Keys Kumiroa, just past the outstretched stick of Jalisha Singh. Good change of shape there. It's Ackroyd and McQuinn at the back. Ackroyd eyes up Meehan coming forward, and she's got Gill, turned her inside out. It will be the Māoris with possession coming forward in the attacking third through Grayson Keys Kumiroa. Shops for Meehan again, who has Gill, and that's Deacon with the reverse stick tackle there. A good little tussle there between Deacon and Meehan. They smile at each other, perhaps played some hockey against each other previous to this. Ori were happy with a tidy turnaround. Manisha Jerem, an inside stick skill.
Yeah, you give Oriwa an inch, she'll take a mile. Honestly, her stick skill is magic. Playing against her, honestly, it's a bit humbling.
Yeah, she's got a ton of skill there. Does Oriwa happy and on full display there as she turned in and around both Jerem and Tately to get her shot away, but well turned by Deacon, who has been good today. So Tyler Toherere O'Neill linking up with Ackroyd and happy to go back out to McQuinn, who has Goodsell-Matthews on the outside. It's a nice little turn infield. If she can link a pass here. It just carries probably a step too far into the two-man trouble there. Michaela Bradley gets the ball going forward, but just to the baseline, so it will be the Indian woman here through Alyssa Earnshaw on the ball. She finds Gill on the right-hand side. She's done well there to link up with Jerem.
Good
physical
skill.
play there by Manisha.
Can always count on her to be that solid aggressive player on the field. Sometimes a card comes out of it, sometimes no.
Yeah, we've got a few players like that in this tournament. You know, we think of Lulu Tuilotalava, Oriwa Hepi, Manisha Jerem, all players that are really happy to get into that physical grind and play tough when they need to. As a fantastic ball goes across the goal there and is almost put in by Karishma Kumar. It's an opportunity come from not a lot there for the Indian women's. And that is Manisha Jerem. Yeah, she gave me a hard time after giving her a hard time yesterday for finding the seat at Colmar Sports Centre, but she...
pretty sure it's got her name permanently written on it at this point.
Yeah, unfortunately, Manisha, you make the bed you sleep in, so she's out there again for another short break, unfortunately. Like you said, Seedle, sometimes physical does get you a coloured card. And that's part of the way that some of these players play. It's what makes them such strong players. And this is Leah Arthur-Worsop just linking up with Oriwa Hepi.
Nice
She's
control.
done well to control that. And acrobatic option there from Ruby Jane Meehan to try and direct the ball goalward past Mia Wallab, but there's a dangerous one across the front of the goal there by Heppy. She's done so well to bring it down under control. This is Earnshaw and Deacon at the back for the New Zealand Indians. That's probably a little too tough of an ask there for her left half. There's nothing worse than playing out there and that ball thrown in front of you at pace.
Yep.
This is Jazz McQuinn coming forward for the Māoris. Just a little too far off her stick, and there's Deacon to control it. But the Māoris will come back forward.
Definitely important now to play smart hockey for the Indian ladies team. Being a player down, they can't afford to make mistakes in the circle.
And that's Ruby Jane Meehan on the reverse stick shot past the left kicker of Mia Wallab into the goal. That's far post magic from Ruby Jane Meehan. Now if we look back on the build-up, it's a fantastic quick free hit actually taken by Jazz McQuinn in the middle of the field here. You see her on the ball, jumps onto it and finds Ruby Jane Meehan on the edge of the circle, and it's a tidy turn, reverse stick shot right into the far sideboard, which puts the New Zealand Māori team up 2-1 in this game against the New Zealand Indians. Great finish there, and it's good heads-up play by Jazz McQuinn, who jumped onto the free hit quickly and turned the Indian team around. That set up the goal there. You talked, Seidel, about the Indian team sometimes getting a little bit rattled when things start to get on a roll for the Māori team, and I think that was compounded errors there.
Yeah. But they've got a chance to bring it back and slow down the play and control the game themselves.
Yeah, and trying to fire a shot straight back was the Indian women with a probing ball across the front of the goal there. Was sent away by the New Zealand Māori team, so it will be Tately for the Indians with ball at the top of the circle. And just unable to link up there with Gill. I don't know if she was expecting the ball to come out to her from that one there, but the Māoris will come forward. Yeah, Alyssa Earnshaw just opting to throw that one over the sideline so that Sarah Thomas for the Māoris didn't get the ball. Sarah, of course, the first goal scorer for the Māori side in the second quarter. They find themselves with a 2-1 lead. This is Grayson Keys Kumiro trying to link up with Ruby Jane Meehan, the most recent goal scorer. And we'll see the two of them there for the Māoris, Meehan and Taylor, the goal scorers. And it was Shannon Deacon who has just played the ball forward, the goal scorer for the Indians. So 2-1 here to the Māoris. It's been a high-quality game here after both teams struggled at early stages yesterday. They'll be happy with the improvement so far. As we get into midway through the third quarter here, it's the Māoris with ball going forward, but Jalisha Singh, who continues to impress with her work rate and how she gets around the field, just getting in the way of that attack. If they can open up the other side of the field through Micah Ackroyd, the Māoris have an option here with Arabella Irwin. She turns to find her shot. That will be a penalty corner, just rolled onto the back of the stick there of Shannon Deacon, who has been so good today. That's a lovely entry from Micah Ackroyd. Again, we see a team taking a quick free hit around that 25-yard zone. We see here Ackroyd gets onto the ball. Quick entry in to Arabella Irwin, who stays composed in the circle, and it does just roll onto the back of the stick of Deacon there for the penalty corner. So the Māori team will have an opportunity here to turn a 1-goal lead into a 2-goal lead through the penalty corner. It is Jazz McQuinn at the top.
Good initial save by Mia Wallab.
Yeah, good first up save there. I talked about McQuinn being a good exponent of the upright hit, probably a little too down the tram lines for her liking. She would have liked to find a little wider than the middle of the goal, but Mia Wallab up to the task. It's a little touch through from Misha Tately, finds Jalisha Singh here if she can get around Heppy. Not an easy ask, but Singh does have a lot of pace, but it's the experience of Oriwa Heppy, and we talked about her earlier, Seidel, her experience and ability on the field to make the right plays on both sides of the ball. Really impressive for the Māori team.
Absolutely.
A little unforced error there from Tyler Goodsell-Matthews. Will give the ball back to the Indians through Deacon over on the left-hand side of the field now. She's looking for options, and Taylor Weatherly stays on the ball pressure. Good strong play there by Amy Mitchell. She'll find her captain, Oriwa Hepi, coming up out of defence. Fantastic ball forward there to the goal scorer, Taylor, for the Māoris. She's got the ball in the circle. Gurleen Gill defending her. It's still in play there. Taylor Witherley onto the ball. She's got a reverse stick if she wants it.
Nice
and
cover
it's
by the
Shannon
defence.
Deacon who does enough to get the ball out of in front of the goal for the Indians. You can see how quickly the ball can go from end to end. That's 2 passes from Mitchell, Hepi, and a long ball there up to Sarah Thomas for the Māoris. She's done fantastically well to pull that in.
Absolutely. Great cover by Gurleen Gill as well. Getting nice and flat, protecting her feet from that easy PC. So.
Oh no. A little scramble there, and it is Gurleen Gill there to clear again for the Indian women. She's had 2 impressive bits of defensive work there. And I know a pretty lackluster defender in Denham Clark from Tauranga does some work defensively with Gurleen Gill, and she probably looks better than he does usually defensively with that work there. It's a nice little bouncing ball in there. And Manisha Jerem looking to hit the cow corner there for 6.
Oh, yeah. And
just probably fortunately missed.
not her first time doing that either. First time she has done that, she connected and sent it over to the other side.
And this is Gill again working out. She does well there, and that's a pretty average looking tackle from Arabella Irwin for the Māoris. Will give her a couple minutes on the sideline.
This is key for the Indians here to take those early balls and try and get the New Zealand Māori team on the back foot, being one player down.
And this is Gill just throwing the ball around to Deacon. It's a great ball and great receive there by the Indians, and they come forward up the left-hand side of the field. That's fantastic hockey coming forward for the Indians if they can link up one more time. It's Devyani Somar working up there. And Grayson Keys Kumiro just intercepts before the ball makes its way to Jalisha Singh, which could have been bad news there for the Māoris if Jalisha Singh did find that ball before Keys Kumiro does. Instead, she will find the seat for her back tackling. And this is Tyler Goodall-Matthews entering for the Māoris.
Good cover by Manisha, calm and composed at the back.
Yeah, that is very calm defensive work there by Manisha Jerem, but it's Goodall-Matthews again with ball on her stick. And unfortunately therefore Gurleen Gill just not quite low enough to work the ball out cleanly. Taylor Witherley and Tyler Goodall-Matthews there putting pressure on. It's the Māori woman come up again for a penalty corner as we see the vision here. This is Tyler Goodall-Matthews. It's a strong carry there. She gets the ball outside her right foot and throws one in. And this is the first entry that Manisha Jerem sent away. But the next one set up this penalty corner. We've got Jazz McQuinn at the top. It's not clean, but this has fallen for the Māoris. And it's taken a deflection off a defender's stick and has rolled in past the right boot there of Mia Wallab. So that goal will go down to Jazz McQuinn. As we see the replay here, untidy at the top. It's heads-up play here from Toherere O'Neill. Yeah, it took a little bobble on its way through into the goal there, but that extends the Māori team's lead to 3-1, which will please coach Tina Balkake. The Indians have an opportunity to come forward here. We've got just under 2.5 minutes left in this third quarter. There's still plenty of hockey to play. And as we saw yesterday, 2 goals can come very quickly if a team can string some good execution together. That's well picked there by Leah Arthur-Worsup. And it'll be Grayson Keys Kumiro to come away with the ball for the New Zealand Māori team. Yeah, unfortunate series of events there in that penalty corner for the Indian women's side.
Absolutely.
It
a little bit
wasn't
of
the
ball
prettiest
watching.
worked corner. Leah Arthur-Worsup with the ball. That's tidied up well by Alyssa Earnshaw, and Devyani Soma will be able to come forward with the ball with Manisha Jerem. Jerem just probing forward for a striker there, unfortunately not there for her. The Māoris happy just to take a little breath here after in the period after points. Jazz McQuinn will link up with Arabella Irwin. That's probably a little too easy for the Māori team coming out like that. And that's a fantastic ball, finds Nicola Bradley. That's a fantastic effort play there by Nicola Bradley right in front of the goal of Mia Wallab for the Indians. A fantastic ball by Arabella Irwin, who has just come back onto the field after sitting her card out. Very nearly a fourth there for the Māoris, and there's something about this Māori team and scoring goals right before the hooter, isn't there? Here it is, Nicola Bradley again, linking up. Here it is, there's players in front of the goal if they can find them.
You can see fatigue starting to set in for the Indian girls. That the first half where they just kept going, as you can tell. It's just spent their energy a little bit. So they do need to play a bit more smarter and can when they have the ball.
Yeah, we talk about sometimes all that possession, if you don't get the reward for it, it's really hard to keep going. As she does find Amy Mitchell here. Good save by Wallab. And again, that's two solid saves and well worked out by Devyani Soma. Only as far as the 25-yard line with Tyler Goodsell-Matthews. Is not long left here. She's going to want to get the ball in the circle. Tately will do enough there just to send away any final little flurry from the Māori team, but it was a strong quarter for the Māori team. They started to link up going forward. They earned a couple of penalty corners in that period and did put another goal on, so they are up 3-1 here into the third quarter in the second game of Day 2 New Zealand Heritage Hockey between the New Zealand Māoris and the New Zealand Indians. As we look at some of the highlights from that quarter, it was the likes of Hepi who was very good. She turned a couple of fantastic defenders inside out there. Particularly impressed by Shannon Deacon and Alyssa Earnshaw playing at the back for the New Zealand Indian side. They've had to do a lot of defending in this quarter, and we're up to the fair share of it. They had their opportunities as well. This is a lovely ball that just went past Karishma Kumar there for the New Zealand Indians. Leah Arthur Worsop has made some things happen, and again this is Uri Wahepi. Just unable to link up in front of goal with Ruby Jane Meehan.
Spectacular dive. Putting your bodies on the line.
And this is the goal here, so it's Jazz McQuinn taking a good early free hit. She links up with Ruby Jane Meehan, who squares up the defender, and it's a reverse stick shot that finds the far post. And very well worked for their second goal. And Ackroyd on the entry to Irwin. Works the penalty corner. Yeah, the execution in and around the front of the goal has been a lot better than yesterday for the Māori team. And it's this penalty corner option that nearly came off for the Māoris. You can see Taylor there for the Māori team. So as far as Weatherly, she had a reverse stick shot at goal as well. Nearly could have been directed goalward, but it is the Māori team that find themselves up 3-1 heading into the final quarter of the second women's game. It's the Indians with first play of the ball through Jerem and through Rebecca Massey. We've got the ball there with Alyssa Earnshaw at the back. Misha Tately just probes the ball forward, but nobody really there to get onto the end of it, and the Māoris come forward through Grayson Keys-Kumiroa. I talked about her earlier in the cast, and she's been good here. She links up with Ruby Jane Meehan. Just rolls it back out in front of the goal.
Good control out by Alicia Patel.
Yeah, that's good composure there by Patel. Who's just picked the ball up and rolled it out, but the Māoris will come forward again. A little battle here. Coming out for the Indians is Rebecca Massey. She's got Jana Verbeek there going forward for the Indians. She works the free hit. And it will be Massey on the ball, linking up with Jerem. Just out there to Alyssa Earnshaw and Misha Tately.
They're looking towards the long balls again. Sometimes they work, but they've got to find their players to be able to, for them to capitalise on it. Yeah, especially with the New Zealand Māoris, they will pick up on those long balls, and their counter attack will be.
Yeah, both Goodsall Matthews and Kumiroa very good in their intercept lines and the way that they zonal mark. And this is Arabella Irwin coming forward for the Māoris. If she can link up with Hepi, doesn't get through the stick of Alicia Patel there. Amy Mitchell will recycle out the back to Jazz McQuinn, who has Grayson Keys Kumiroa on the outside. That's lovely transition play here through to Ruby Meehan, who will look to get on the outside here. It's a lovely drag. Nice low play there by Manisha Jerem. Just clears the ball to the other side of the field for the Indians, but it will be Amy Mitchell here for the Māoris through Orewa Hepi. She has a look to see what her options are, but her option is Misha Tately. She'll want a player to get close to play small games and earn a free hit out of here, and there it is for the Indians. Verbeek, Divyani Soma, and only as far as the 25-yard line, so more sustained pressure here for the Māori team. And they have had the Māoris have had Brodie Cochrane come onto the field in goal for them this final quarter. She'll be hoping not to have to do too much work here, but the Indians will be wanting to ask some questions of her in this final quarter of the game. She played the match yesterday for the Māori women, including the penalty shootout, so she's no stranger to game time here. This is Tately just changing the point of attack. Pretty tough ask there for her teammate right in front of the Indian dugout. They went up for a catch. This is the Māoris with ball at the back. Just happy to keep possession here. They are up. That's a lovely reverse stick ball out to Jazz McQuinn, who finds herself going forward, but it is Deacon again who's been so good for the Indians in intercept lines. She finds Jalisha Singh going forward. She's got Verbeek on the inside. That's Orewa Hepi showing her experience there, just dragging the trail foot to make sure the ball can't get through into the circle. That's a fantastic entry ball from Deacon. Finds Jana Verbeek on the back post, and that is the goal the Indian team needed early in this quarter. So we're going to have 12 frantic minutes as we see the replay. Here it is rolled back out to Deacon. Deacon with a fantastic ball through, and Jana Verbeek just above the spot.
Those final touches that we were talking about earlier.
And here's Jalisha Singh if she can get the ball going forward. They can go 2 and 2 here if Singh can get onto this. And wow, haven't the Indians buoyed in confidence after that little play?
Absolutely. As soon as Jalisha does get the ball as well, she's off like a rocket. Now that they've got that extra wind.
Yeah, it's going to be a fast 12 minutes for both sides here if things keep tightening up.
See a little bit of that first quarter replay going on, end to end.
Absolutely. This, like I said, both teams coming up a little short in their games yesterday will be desperate to get points on the board, so the Indian side won't want to die wondering here and end the day in 2 losses if they can do anything about it. It's a fantastic goal there by Jana Verbeek for the Indian women's side. Puts them back to 3-2. Here they are pressing forward, the Indians. It's Grayson Keys Kumiroa with some tidy work out of the back, linking up with Ruby Jane Meehan, who turns Manisha Jerem inside out and links back up with Orewa Hepi, the captain for the New Zealand Māoris. She's working hard out there. Just does turn it back into Tyler Tohiriri O'Neill, who finds Meehan in the circle. That's a little bit of a bouncer there, and unfortunate for Mia Willabin. Not a lot you can do there, but that's what happens when some of these experienced Māori players team up, and Hepi finds Tohiriri O'Neill. And that to Meehan, who has been very good today, gets it onto her forehand, does take a deflection, and in off both sideboards, does restore the lead for the Māoris back to 2 goals. It is 4-2 here with 10 minutes to play in the game. Certainly not over by any stretch. We've seen goals come thick and fast here in this women's game for both sides, and this is Sarah Thomas for the Māoris, just looking to link up with a player. She finds Meehan, who's done well there to keep possession, but only as far as the flat sticks trap of Misha Tately. The Indian woman coming forward here. And there's Jalisha Singh putting a bit of pressure on Micah Ackroyd there. Unfortunately, giving away the free hit. Jalisha, with the little dodge of the ball there. She's done well, has Jalisha Singh. As the ball comes back up here, will be the Indian woman with an attacking opportunity. They are down 4-2 at the moment, inside 10 minutes to play. The Māori women defending their own circle. This is Manisha Jerem with a good bit of stick skill through, but cleaned up well by McQuinn for the Māoris, and it will be Grayson Keys-Kumiroa coming forward with the ball. Trying to link up with Sarah Thomas, who's done some of her best work today, outstretched like that. Oriwa Hepi commanding her troops to get up in the full court press. They're not going to want to sit on this. They want to keep coming forward, and here is Ruby Jane Meehan with a strong tackle. She'll want to link up with her teammate. And there it is, little touch pass into the circle. And that's Maya Wilson there, just linking up with Mike Ackroyd in the middle of the field. Zarabella Irwin, well defended there by Misha Tately, but it has come into Nikayla Bradley. Good bit of work there by Mia Willab, getting out into the face of Bradley and shutting down her options, but the Māori women will stay on attack here. It is Ackroyd who has Goodsill Matthews on the outside. Looks to get around Karishma Kumar and does well there. Does Goodsill Matthews, just into the foot there of Gurleen Gill. As we take a special mention to the people that help us put on this fantastic Heritage Hockey Tournament. We wouldn't be able to do it without the support of so many great people, including the organising committee, a ton of volunteers, our officials, everybody running the tournament from behind the scenes, but also our fantastic sponsors of this weekend's tournament. Obviously, One Foundation, who do a lot of work with funding and sponsorship. And we've got MTEL, who work on our technology and digital solutions. The Barna Family Farms, who always support sports events, especially in the Indian community. Big supporters of Indian hockey. Onyx Sportswear, who make sure our teams and umpires are looking their best through the tournament. Eddie and the team at Go Hockey, who are always supporters of sports and hockey. He's probably got one of the best ranges in the country. As we do see Grayson Keys-Kumiroa come forward here again for the Māori woman. She can't get it any further than Deacon. If you're in and around the area, if you're at the tournament, Go Hockey have their sales trailer, aptly named Trailer Swift, set up here for at least today, with plenty of deals on for our hockey community. We've got Blackwood Legal, who are a fantastic firm dealing with legal advice. Keeper Life, Phil and the team at Keeper Life, who deal with insurances and financial literacy. And of course Mama's Hangi downstairs kitchen, supplying the food and refreshments for everybody here at Colmar Sports Centre in Papatoetoe. As we come into the final 6.5 minutes of this second women's match for day 2. Tidy little turn there by Devyani Soma. She's got through a couple and can't get it past Tyler Goodsill Matthews and Oriwa Hepi. It's been a good game so far, Settle. I know the the scoreline does look a little one way now that there's been some extra goals, but both teams have had plenty of opportunity and a much improved performance on yesterday.
Absolutely, yeah. Both teams have very, very much stepped it up. And it's good to see, you know, as each game you play, you improve.
Absolutely, and one thing you do want to see in a game of hockey is plenty of goals, and we've had 6 here so far in the first 55 minutes of the game, which is an awesome showing of good quality hockey as Uriwa Hepi comes forward here for the Maori. She's got a back post option if she can find it.
Alyssa Earnshaw again.
Fantastic work by Alyssa Earnshaw.
She's been phenomenal today. Her and Shannon Deacon have been very pivotal for this Indians team in terms of defence and moving forward, the intercepts.
Yeah, it's what comes when teams start to gel, and you know, it's always hard on the first day, but you start to uncover players in their strengths on day 2, and Earnshaw and Deacon certainly have found their strengths.
Even Divyani Soma, she's stepped up a bit as well with her skill and composure on the ball.
Yeah, we've got just in under 5 minutes. That is Deacon there on the ball, being hounded by Arabella Irwin. Oh, it's been put down in the slips there by the spectator on the near side. He won't be catching a million with Tui this summer. But the Indian women do transfer out the other side of the field, and it's Misha Tately who receives the ball on a reverse stick, but good little challenge there by Goodsu Matthews, cuts that attack out pretty quickly. Unfortunate there for the Indians, just unable to link up going forward. So the Māori team will take their time and bring this one back. They'll be taking a breath. We're wanting to set up for a good period of possession here. Not quite the option she would have wanted. It's fallen there to Tately, but good pressure there by Nicola Bradley has created an opportunity here for Lee Arthur Worsop, and this is Arabella Irwin coming forward. Yeah, a bit of scrappy play there both ways. Absolutely. I think from both teams there, but it will be advantage to the Māoris, who will have the attacking penalty corner here as we see the replay. There's a little scrappy here with Arthur Worsop and Arabella Irwin there, and it's just that little physical challenge there, unfortunately on the edge of the circle, deemed to be an infringement. By umpire Tamara Dudley up at the field end. It will be the Māoris here. Great defensive work there by Misha Tately, getting out nice and close to the Māori player there. It's always tough when that 1-2 comes off and the player striking the ball gets closer and closer. So yeah, she's done a fantastic job in disrupting that shot. Will still be the Māoris with the ball, but a long corner is better than a short one. Nicola Bradley just trying to play the ball forward there into the circle, but a little bit too much swing on that for the Māoris, and it will be the Indians through Deacon and Earnshaw here to work the ball out. Unfortunately there for Divyani Soma, just got the ball in a reverse stick and bobbled up, hard to get under control. It's a great touch there by Alyssa Earnshaw. Clean tackle, does go over the sideline. It will still be ball for the Māoris through Grayson Keys Kumiroa. And Jalisha Singh just will not give up. She's trying for everything. She'd love 2 goals in 2 minutes. That strong midfield present there by Toherere O'Neill. Jazz McQuinn calls for the ball in the middle again.
So the Māori ladies just holding the possession of the ball, playing around. They've got time to afford to.
Yep, they've got the scoreboard advantage as well, so they know just to play possession hockey, low risk stuff where they can. And this is Nicola Bradley, who's worked to get the ball back after originally turning it over, and she comes forward here with the ball at pace. She's got players both sides if she can link up. She finds Taylor Weatherly just outside the circle. This is Weatherly again.
Oh.
She hits the near side post on her reverse stick attempt, and it might just trigger an Indian attack, but let down by execution. I know fatigue in the final stage of this game will be running rampant through the players as we count down inside the final minute of the game here. Misha Tately wanting to throw something forward, but just her striker's unable to get there. It will be tired legs for the Indian women's side and for the Maori team as well. And you'll see here the experience of Jazz McQuinn. Just asked the umpire 3 times where she needs to take that hit from. And unforced error there, unfortunately, by the Māoris. Indians will want to take it quickly and get one more on the board, but good challenge there by Toherere O'Neill on Phillips. And that will spell the end of the game there for these two teams. Fantastic display of good, free-flowing, open, fast-paced hockey between the New Zealand Māoris and the New Zealand Indians. Final score 4-2 to the Māoris. They had a very good second half. Both teams came out firing in the first quarter and looked much improved from their earlier attempts yesterday. Both teams will be very pleased with the improvements made, but it will be the Māori women that come away with the win there. Cedal, like I said, much improved from both sides, but what did you like out of the Indian side today?
The way that they played together as a team and their passing, especially in that first half, was pretty awesome to see. They worked really well together, and the movement off the ball was really cool to see. Their aggression and fire in their bellies was quite awesome. Yeah,
as we look at some of the highlights here, I think we were most impressed by a couple of Indian players that stood up at the back for them, and the likes of Alyssa Earnshaw and Shannon Deacon, who were just able to free up Misha Tately and Manisha Jerem to play a little higher up the field, which, linking in with Jalisha Singh, gave them opportunity right up and down the field, and that was the goal that got things very tight for a minute there. Ball forward from Shannon Deacon found Jana Verbeek, and Jalisha Singh tried to go 2 for 2. And just unfortunately not able to get that one on target there. There were opportunities right through to the death for both teams. And both teams looked a lot better. This is entry here from Toherere Clark, finds Ruby J. Meehan. Off a little deflection bobble, hits both sides of the goal.
Ruby played quite well today, actually. She was on fire the whole time.
Yeah, she offered a really good link between the midfield and the strikers, and it was often her that gave them the go forward. They've got a lot of youth up the front, this New Zealand Māori team, so having somebody like Ruby Jane Meehan with a little bit more experience helping, and same with Uri Wahepi, they both were influential in their midfield roles, helping the attacking prowess of this New Zealand Māori team. And I thought they both teams played really well. They're improved, and they want to improve again for tomorrow's match, which will be the final pool games for both teams tomorrow. But the Māori team will be pleased. They got points. They almost got there yesterday, and they picked up a shootout loss, but points on the board today will help them a lot. So there's work like that by Alyssa Earnshaw that we just saw on the replay there that impressed us so much. The coach Navina Hira, she'll be, although disappointed in the end result, she'll be pleased with what she saw out there from her girls.
Absolutely, yeah. As mentioned earlier, they did definitely step it up, and their composure and stuff on the ball in that first half was really awesome. You could tell fatigue set in that second half as well. A little bit of lazy tackles, and unfortunately which did let them down, but all in all it was a good game. Yeah,
and unfortunately that is tournament hockey, the way fatigue sets in. It's the day drags on, and it does get a little bit hot in here, and 2 games in 2 days will turn into 4 games in 4 days by the end of the weekend for these ladies. So trying to play efficient hockey and keep the ball for periods of possession and limit the chasing that they have to do.
Absolutely.
Will go a long way for where they end up at the back end of the weekend. But yeah, really impressive from both teams out there today. It was a fantastic looking game. We'd love to see goals, and there were some fantastic ones there. There were some penalty corners, but you think about that second goal for the Indian side. Fantastic deflection for Jana Verbeek. There was some exciting hockey being played. As both teams come from the field here.
Bit more overcast as well.
Yeah, the temperature is a little cooler than it was yesterday, which will be nice for the girls out there.
Yep.
They'll enjoy that. Yesterday was a hot one. But it was a good game, well played, and I think that extended pressure that the Maori team were able to put on in that second half did pay dividends for them, and it probably was a deserved victory at the end of the day.
Yeah. I think the key for the Indians tomorrow playing against the Pacifica team will definitely be the early balls, doing and then building on what they did for today. But yeah, no, those early balls will be key, especially against the likes of Carissa and Storm.
Yeah, they'll want to.
Lulu.
Yep, they'll want to keep building against that strong Pacifica side that they will face tomorrow, the Indians, and of course the New Zealand Maori will play the Barbarians tomorrow in what will be a tough, fast-paced game as well. And it was a fantastic game of hockey there today between the Māoris and the Indians. Now, I'm joined in commentary by Oriwa Hepi. Oriwa, much improved performance, I think, for today's game. It was a slow start yesterday, and you guys did get there, or very close to in the end, but you will be pleased by your team's performance today.
Yeah, so yesterday we came out very slow, and I think you could just tell we didn't have a lot of time together, because our connections weren't there. We weren't able to find each other, but today I think we just knew each other a little bit better, knew where to put the ball, stayed closer on the turnovers so we could have a good outlet, and we're all very happy with our performance today.
Yeah, I think the slight adjustments to play yourself and Ruby Jane Meehan, perhaps back a layer into that midfield just to support some of those younger strikers that you had going forward, allowed them to play more of their legs game, and you guys supported the ball through to them, and they got a lot more opportunity, I thought, today, based on your guys' strength in there. So what's the combination been like between, I guess, Jazz when she pushes forward, between yourself and Ruby Jane Meehan? How does that set forward your strikers?
Hey, look, yeah, we do have some strikers who are incredibly fast. I mean, a lot faster than me, so I think it was a very clever idea to bring me back a layer and just help feed. And as you can see in the game, we had plenty of balls straight through to the strikers, and with those fast legs, they were able to pick it up. So I think that was a really clever play by our coach. So, yeah.
Fantastic, and it's a tough game tomorrow. You got the Barbarians in your final game of pool play tomorrow. You'll need points again, obviously coming up with just the 1 point yesterday, but full points today will help. What do you need to do for tomorrow's game?
So for tomorrow's game, we actually want to make sure that we keep a lot tighter in the midfield. So with those outlets, and even outletting in our defensive structure, outletting, we need to make sure that we're tight. So in the case of turnovers, we're not so vulnerable in the middle of the field there. And it's just continuing to learn with these young ones. So I think this game, building from this game onto tomorrow's game, I think we're going to be coming out nice and strong, but we're positive for tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can continue to make the improvements like you did from yesterday to today's game, you absolutely go a long way in being successful in tomorrow's game. We wish you all the very best. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Go and rest up, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Thank you.
That was New Zealand Māori captain Oriwa Hepi with me in commentary after her team's 4-2 win over the New Zealand Indians. Joined again in commentary by the New Zealand Indians captain Manisha Jerem. Manisha, not quite the result you guys will have wanted, but a phenomenally improved performance from your team today.
Absolutely. Look, none of us are mad about the loss. I think it was a huge step up from yesterday. The girls played amazing. The press was working really well. Great deflection from Yana down there. All around, absolutely wrapped with that game today.
Oh, absolutely, and we were up here going, there's no losers in that game. Obviously there's a scoreboard, but both teams played really well. There were some fantastic goals. The spectators were treated to an absolutely fantastic game of hockey, and you guys came through in bounds from yesterday's game, and you'll be pleased. Now, I noticed in the game both Shannon Deacon and Alyssa Earnshaw playing in the middle back there just allowed Misha Tately and yourself to play a little higher up the field, which, linking in with the likes of Chalisha Singh, meant you had attack through all of the layers of the field, and I think that played a big part in your guys' success. How good were those two at the back?
Absolutely amazing. We did change our structure today to open up that midfield. Obviously, we didn't utilise that much yesterday, and all of our some of our key players. We had Rashika, who was actually away today, unfortunately, but that opened up Misha, gave her lots of time on the ball. We got the height today with our strikers, and you could see the passes, the combinations were amazing. I couldn't fault it. Obviously, no balls in the net other than that deflection, but we created plenty of opportunities, so absolutely thrilled with that game.
Yeah, and I guess leading into tomorrow, you'll just want to continue that play. That build was, the improvement today was fantastic, so continuing that, keeping your height, your structure looked nice, and getting key players into good areas of the field.
Yeah, definitely a lot to build on. We did run out of legs towards the end, which you could obviously see. We started making lots of mistakes, but I think up to the third quarter, we played really well.
And you gave me a little bit of a hard time for mentioning your seat over there in front of the middle dugout, and then you went and sat on it again today. So what's the plan tomorrow? Are we going for a different colour, or are you going to dodge one?
There was no shoulder today in that one, actually. So, yeah, that was a bit frustrating, but we'll take that one on the chin and hopefully don't get another one this tournament.
Fantastic. Well, we wish you all the very best for tomorrow's game. Well played out there. Awesome stuff, you and your team. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
And that brings the end of our second women's game for day 2 of the New Zealand Heritage Hockey Tournament between the New Zealand Maori and the New Zealand Indians. The Maori team coming away 4-2 winners in the end there after a strong second half. And we will be back again for the first men's game of day 2, which will see the New Zealand Heritage Barbarians take on the New Zealand Pacifica men in what's going to be a fast and furious tussle here at 2 o'clock from Colmar Sports Centre in Papatoetoe.